Hello, this is Brian, Counselor Dad. I'm a recently retired corporate executive. I've been president of a dental products company and a number of other international business functions. Have a wonderful family, 3 beautiful daughters, have been married for decades, and I'm doing a series of videos on life tips, including preparing for college, and this video is choosing a vocation. Now, in choosing a vocation, my first tip is, in this case, it might be good to listen to your friends. I know a lot of times people tell you not to listen to your friends, but your friends can often tell you, if they're honest with you, what you're good at and what you're not good at. What do you hear from them and what do you hear from others, teachers and others, in terms of what you're good at, and use that as part of a guideline. And think about how you can help the world or make a difference in your own town. Another thing a lot of people counsel on is they say, when you're choosing a vocation, follow your passions. No matter what, no matter how impossible it seems, follow your passions. While others will take a more left-brained approach and say, do your research. Find out which vocations are most in demand now and in the future. I suggest a balance. You want to know what your passions are and you want to get something you're really interested in and you can put energy into. But it doesn't hurt to do some research either and find out which vocations are most in demand, most in need, and try to match your skill sets to that. Internships during college, extremely important. They can help you decide, again, what it's really going to be like in the occupation that you think you want to go into. Even if you get a very low-level job, an administrative job, in an industry that you're interested in, you're going to have a much better opportunity to view with your own eyes what it's like working there, and you're going to view people in the very jobs that you're most interested in. You're also going to have more access to actually talk to these folks about what their day-to-day life is like. Summer jobs through high school, very important in helping you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. When I graduated from high school, my first summer, I was lucky enough to get a good paying job with Ford Motor Company in an assembly plant. I was a member of the United Automobile Workers. Paid very well. I was a chip puller. My job was to push a cart from machine to machine and then with my shovel out the metal chips, the oily metal chips, cart them away, take them to a central location, dump them out, and just keep doing that for 8 hours. It was hot, it was oily, it was sweaty. I sweated so much I didn't just have to drink water. I had to constantly take salt pills to keep my body chemistry in balance. When I got home, I couldn't wait to get out of my oily clothes. I smelled up the whole house. Tough job. And when I went into college, and at times when I'd be facing a test that I really didn't feel like studying for, or a project that I really didn't feel like getting started on, a number of times I thought back to my experience as a chip puller, and that was a real motivator for me to be successful in college. Another technique or tactic you should use is informational interviews. Use your parents, your friends, your aunts and uncles to try to get interviews, short interviews, scheduled appointments with people in the occupation you're interested in. For example, let's say you want to be an architect and you don't know anybody that's an architect. Well, I'll bet you if you try all your contacts, your friends, your relatives, you're going to find somebody who's an architect. And you may be surprised, but most professionals are more than willing to spend a little time with a young person and share their experience. Most of us want to have some influence on the up-and-coming generation. It's a natural thing, and it's a good thing. When I went into college, I basically, after a couple of years in college, I had narrowed down to 2 occupations that I was most interested in. It was either become a lawyer or become a businessman. And so I did some of these informational interviews myself, including with attorneys. And another thing I did, I went into the school's law library. I sat down and read some of the books that would be similar to what I'd be studying as a law student. And based on my research, I decided that maybe I wasn't all that interested in becoming a lawyer. Besides the fact it seemed like, from what I was hearing, there was an oversurplus of lawyers. So I went the business route. I went to business school. I got my MBA at the University of Michigan. And then it was time to finally interview for professional career jobs. And when I was coming out of business school, I had really two offers that I was mainly interested in. One was to go into the healthcare industry with Eli Lilly and Company, and one was to go to work for the same company that my dad had worked for over 30 years, Ford Motor Company. Both were good offers. The one with Ford paid a little more. But here it came into play that I felt like I'd do more good in the world if I joined the healthcare industry. I felt like I'd get more satisfaction from that. And that in fact turned out to be true. I joined the healthcare industry and I stayed in the healthcare industry for my entire career. And nothing gave me greater satisfaction than having doctors or dentists tell me how new products that I had introduced to them were really helpful to their patients, and how patients had been cured or been healed by products that I had introduced them to. So this was a source of great satisfaction to me. In fact, I feel very blessed that I'm one of a minority of people, frankly, that was able to make an entire career out of the same career that I had studied for, sales and marketing, within college and business school. I'd like to have at least one other suggestion to you, and this is a reading suggestion. If you've never read the book, What Color is Your Parachute? Have a look at it. This book was originally written in 1970, but it's been completely updated in 2015. Parts of it I didn't follow as much, like determining where you want to live right off the bat. I didn't put a lot of weight into that. That might be more important to you. But one of the things that really made an impression on me is to match up your passions and your interests as much as possible with your skills and talents and abilities. So you draw two big circles and you put all the things you're passionate about, all the things you're interested in one circle. And in the other circle, you list as many skills and abilities and talents that you can. And then you look at these two circles and hopefully you'll see some intersection, some place where the two overlap. And if you can do that, you are well on your way to identifying which career you really want to go to. Now I'll say one other thing about choosing a career. You may start in one career and change to another career, and there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't, but many people do very successfully. For example, my own wife, she was a nursing student. She got a degree in nursing. But she rapidly found that she was actually more interested in doing the research and the papers on nursing than the practice of nursing itself. And so she actually wrote a book which was very successful for beginning level nurses, which was translated into several different languages and did a lot of good with that book. One of my brothers started his career in the military and had a good career in the military, but then left the military and completely changed careers and became an elementary school teacher, mostly in districts with underprivileged kids. And he's obtained great personal satisfaction and really made a difference in the lives of many, many young people. And nothing has been more satisfying to him than having kids several years later, after they left his class, come back to him and say, "Paul, you were really a father figure to me, maybe the father I never felt I had, and you've made a huge influence on my life." That's been a tremendous way for Paul to my brother to make a real difference. So these are just a few tips I might share with you. I'm probably going to write a book about all this, but in the meantime, I'd love you to share any thoughts or comments you have with me. You can write to me at counselordad@gmail.com. Thank you very much.